Hello, welcome to the Cool Reader Show. I'm your host, Johnny Duckett, and I want to tell you that we have a very exciting show today. What we have is some cool readers from the 2016 champion Battle of the Books of Winston-Forsyth County School, and that's Meadowlark Middle School. They won the championship for the Battle of the Book. So I'm really excited to have some of the champions on. I don't have all of the champions, but I do have some of the champions. I'm really excited about that. But our first cool reader we have today is Miss Sneha Thilak. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay. Now tell me, what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 12.
All right. Now tell us, what book do you have today?
Counting by Sevens by Holly Goldberg Sloan.
Okay. Now could you give me just a little summary about Counting by Sevens?
It's about a girl named Willow Chance who her parents die, so she has to be put in the foster program, and she ends up living with her two only friends.
Okay. Now, could I get you to read, several pages from Counting by Sevens? Some of your favorite pages.
Okay. I'll just read the introduction.
Okay.
I was taken to see an educational consultant that autumn, and the woman did an evaluation. She sent my parents a letter. I read it. It said I was highly gifted. Are people lowly gifted, or medium gifted, or just gifted? It's possible that all labels are curses, unless they are on cleaning products, because in my opinion, it's not really a great idea to see people as one thing. Every person has lots of ingredients to make them into what is always a one-of-a-kind creation. We're all imperfect genetic stews. According to the consultant, Mrs. Grace V. Merman, the challenge for the parents of someone highly gifted was to find ways to keep the child engaged and stimulated, but I think she was wrong. Almost everything interests me.
Okay, so this is about a gifted young lady. And was she fitting in, or was she not fitting in?
She was homeschooled for most of her life, and so when her parents decided that she needs to be more normal, so they took her to school.
Which is always a challenge, going from homeschool to regular school. Okay, now tell me, what type of book is it?
I would say it's realistic fiction.
Okay, now tell me, who was your favorite character?
Willow Chance, the main character.
Okay. Now, does Counting by Seven teach you any lessons?
Yeah, it's about how she finds herself and how she realizes that she doesn't have to change herself, and the theme is how family is important.
Okay. Yeah, it's not important that you got to change yourself to fit in.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, would you recommend this book to your classmates?
Yeah, it has a good message.
Okay. Now, if you could change anything about Counting by Sevens, what would you change?
I think I would change. I would want her to have siblings instead of being an only child.
Okay. All right. Now, have you read any other books by this author?
Not that I know of. No, I don't think so. But I've heard of her before.
Okay. Now, tell me, how does reading in your spare time help you when it comes to doing your schoolwork?
Well, I think you learn a lot from reading, and fiction or nonfiction, you can learn, historical fiction, you can learn a lot, and reading always has themes, so you can always learn lessons from reading.
Okay. Now, is there one section of this book or one scene or that really stood out to you that was more exciting than the rest of it?
Well, when she first finds out that her parents die, everything that goes through her head.
Ooh. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you for that reading, and thank you for telling us about Counting by Seven. And what we're going to do is this is really a fantastic opportunity when you have siblings on the same show. Now, what we have is Miss Sahana Thilak, and Miss Sahana Thilak is Sneha's sister. So how are you doing today, Sahana?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Okay, and tell me, what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
Okay, and how old are you?
12.
Okay. Now tell me, what book do you have for us today?
I have Hollow City by Ransom Riggs.
Okay. Now, could you give me a little summary of Hollow City?
It's 1940, and there's 10 peculiar children, and they have to flee an army of deadly monsters. The only person that can save them is in the body of a bird.
So they're being pursued by a monster.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Could I get you to read, a couple of pages for us, Sahana?
We rode out through the harbor, past bobbing boats weeping rust from their seams, past juries of silent seabirds roosting atop the barnacled remains of sunken docks, past fishermen who lowered their nets to stare frozenly as we slipped by, uncertain whether we were real or be imagined. A procession of waterborne ghosts or ghosts soon to be. We were 10 children and 1 bird in 3 small and unsteady boats, rowing with quiet intensity straight out to the sea, the only safe harbor for miles, receding quickly behind us, craggy and magical in the blue-gold light of dawn. Our gold, the rugged coast of mainland Wales, was somewhere before us, but only dimly visible, an inky smudge squatting along the far horizon.
Oh, okay. Now tell me, what type of book do you have?
It's historical fiction.
Okay. Now tell me, which was your favorite character in that?
My favorite character was Emma Bloom. She was a girl, and her peculiarity was fire. She could create fires with her hands.
Okay, so these characters in this book, all of them had different powers, and hers just happened to be fire.
Yes.
So what are some of the other powers that some of the other characters had?
Well, Jacob could see the monsters, and one of them was invisible. Olive could float. Bronwyn was very strong. Horace could see through the future. Enoch can bring the dead back to life. Hugh could command bees. Claire had a mouth at the back of her head. Fiona had the talent for making plants grow.
Okay, so this has got to be a very exciting book with all these different characters and all the different powers. Have you read any other books by that author?
Yeah, I read the first novel for this series, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Okay, so by this being a follow-up, this is her first book had, children with different powers in it too.
Yeah, the first book was like an introduction to all of the children, and then the second book showed the conflict.
Oh, okay. Now, was this book easy to read?
Yes.
Do you think that they would make a movie about Miss Peregrine's peculiar, kids?
Oh, they already made a movie for it. Well, they're making a movie. It's going to come out in September.
Okay. Now tell me, if you could change anything about the Hollow City, what would you change?
I wouldn't change anything. I think it's a good book.
It's a good book. Yeah. And you recommend it to all your classmates?
Yes.
All right. Did you learn any lessons from it?
Yes. It's to always stay together, and your friends matter a lot.
Okay, that is really good. Good friends do matter. Okay, now tell me, where is your most favorite place to read?
Probably the ending, because it's like where the most action takes place in the book.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for that, Sahana. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a small break, and we're going to come back with some more cool readers.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team, And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Welcome back to the Cool Reader Show. Like I promised, I would have some more cool readers for you, some exciting students. Now we have one more student that's left over from our 2016 Battle of the Books middle school winner, Meadowlark, and her name is Tejasvani Venkatkumar. How are we doing today?
Good, how are you?
Yes. Now tell me, how does it feel being part of the 2016 Battle of the Books winners?
Feels good. It was really nice competition.
Yes, it's pretty challenging reading all those books and stuff. And did it ever get kind of intense?
Not really. I enjoyed reading those books.
Okay, good deal. All right. Now tell me, what grade are you in?
I'm in 6th grade.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 11.
Okay. Now tell me, what book do you have for us today, Tejas?
I have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling.
All right. Now, could you, for those who don't know, I'm sure everybody already knows about Harry Potter, but for those who don't know, could you give us a little summary of this edition of Harry Potter?
So Harry's a wizard, but he doesn't know it yet, and he's living with these normal humans, and he gets a letter that tells him he should be in Hogwarts, and he goes there, and he discovers that how his parents really died, and he just learns all these new things about himself.
Okay, so he was living with muggles.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right? Muggles,
Yeah,
is that what we call it? Yeah, that's what they call the regular people with muggles, the people that don't have powers and all. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is get you to read us a couple of pages from Harry Potter's and the Sorcerer's Stone. Can you do that for me?
Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grungings, which made drills. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. Mrs. Dursley was a thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters. Mrs. Potter was Mrs. Dursley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. In fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't even have a sister, because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were un-Dursleyish as it was possible to be. The Dursleys shuddered to think what the neighbors would say if the Potters arrived in the street. The Dursleys knew that the Potters had a small son too, but they had never seen him. This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They didn't want Dudley mixing with a child like that.
Okay, so Dudley was Muggle?
Yeah.
Okay, and they gave Harry a hard time.
Yeah, they did. He wasn't living with them at the time, but when he did, they made him sleep under the stairs, and they didn't celebrate his birthday ever.
Ooh, that is terrible. That is terrible. Okay, now tell me what type of book is it?
It's kind of like a fantasy because there are wizards in it, and it's fictional. Okay.
Now, which character did you like best?
I liked Hermione, probably. She's really smart, and she doesn't really care what people think of her.
Okay, that's a good choice. That's a good choice. Was this book easy to read?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. It was interesting, so it was easy.
Okay. Now, what was Harry Potter's other buddy's name?
Ron.
Okay, yeah. I kind of like Ron. Ron was a little quirky, but I kind of like Ron. Ron was pretty cool in his own kind of way, Okay, now did this book teach you any kind of lessons?
Yeah. Harry was just a scrawny kid, but he was actually pretty powerful once he came to realize it, so I guess never judge yourself.
Okay, yeah, always bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself. Okay, have you read any of the other Harry Potter series?
I'm reading the second book right now, but I haven't finished it.
Okay, and that's a lot of pages, isn't it? Well, I guess you have something to do during the summer, won't you? Yeah. Okay. If there's anything you could change about the Sorcerer's Stone, what would you change?
I like the book the way it is, but I guess I wouldn't give Harry such a hard time since, kind of felt bad for him.
Okay. Now, how does reading books in your spare time help you when it comes to doing your schoolwork?
Well, it just it improves my vocab, first of all, and it also just gives me the imagination to do more than just what's there.
Okay, good answer, great answer. Well, we want to thank you for that, Tejas. And now what we're going to do is go to our next cool reader. Our next cool reader is Miss Haley Eisenbraun. How you doing today, Haley?
Good, how are you?
Okay. Now Haley's a special student with Cable 2 and the Cool Reader Show. And we're just so glad to have her back. Haley's coming from Ward Elementary with a show that we had on earlier, and we wanted to make sure to get her in. Now tell me, what grade are you in, Haley?
4th grade.
Okay, and how old are you?
10.
Okay. Now tell me, what book do you have for us today?
School of Charm by Lisa Ann Scott.
Okay, now could you give me a little summary of School of Charm?
Well, Brenda, her father died, so her mom and her two sisters are going to live with our grandmother in North Carolina, and she has a hard time fitting in, and so she goes to this charm school, and she enters a beauty pageant, and she wins 2nd place.
Okay, and this book is actually you're talking about North Carolina, huh? Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe you could read us a few pages. Can you do that for us, Haley?
Yeah. Tell me again why we have to move to Grandma's. I chewed on my thumb waiting for Mama's answer, but I knew what she was going to say. I was still hoping she'd change her mind, and sometimes nagging helped. Mama said if nagging were an Olympic sport, I'd win a gold medal, but I only did it for important things, and this was the most important thing ever. This changed everything. Mama's eyes flashed in the rear-view mirror. She yanked the steering wheel to the right and pulled over the car. Me, Charlene, and Ruthie slid across the seat, crashing into each other. Our U-Haul trailer rocked. to a stop and dust blew up behind it. Rats. Sometimes a nagging ended like this, with Mama madder than a bee in a pop can. Mama turned off her Elvis cassette and stuck her head between the two front seats. She smiled hard with her mouth, but not her eyes. Just like in her Miss North Carolina first runner-up picture. Her dark red hair looked like a puffy storm cloud around her face. Brenda Anderson, do not ask me that again. I told you we have to live with Grandma now because we don't have enough money to stay in our house, she said, smiling and blinking fast. I knew I was in trouble. When Mama called me Brenda, normally she called me Chip, just like everyone else did.
Okay, so they're moving to North Carolina because the father died?
Yes.
Okay, and they didn't really have enough money to keep staying where they were staying at. Okay, so did what's the younger name?
Brenda.
Did Brenda like her grandmother?
She hadn't really met her, so she didn't know.
She was kind of worried that she wouldn't like her. Okay. Tell me, what type of book is School of Charm?
Realistic fiction.
Okay. Now tell me, what was your favorite character?
Brenda.
All right. What was the most exciting part of School of Charm?
When nobody thought she could win a beauty pageant and she came in second place.
Okay, now that's an accomplishment right there, isn't it? Okay, did you learn any lessons from the School of Charm?
Yes. Don't judge yourself by don't let what other people say change who you are. Just stay who you are.
Good answer. Good answer. So if you could change any part of School of Charm, what would you change?
In the very end, I would change, instead of her winning second place, I would like her to be first place.
Okay, win it all. Okay. Now tell me, was that book easy to read?
Yes.
Okay. Have you read any other books by that author?
No.
Okay. Now tell me, where is your most favorite place to read?
In my room.
All right. Okay. Well, I want to thank you, Haley, for that reading, and I want to thank all of my students that came out, and I'm hoping everybody a fantastic summer. And I want to most of all thank you for watching the Cool Reader Show.